warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening to everyone. We are from Group 3 BMMA Section 1 Stroke 2 from subject Vehicle Brake System with code 3053. Okay, today our group will do some inspection, refitting and removal of disc brake according to the lab 4. Okay, in this lab, student will inspect the condition of disc brake assembly and then replace the part of the disc brake system and name all the part of disc brake assembly. Okay, next, before we begin our lab demonstration, I would like to share with you guys all the equipment and tools that will be used in this lab session. Okay, first thing, we gonna use jack to lift the car, and then we will use jack stand to hold the car after jack, and then we will use bolt socket to loosen and tighten the tire nut, and then we gonna use ring and coupling spanner for removing caliper nut, and next we gonna use vernier caliper to measure the thickness of the disc brake, and then we're gonna use dial gauge to measure the surface of rotary.
Okay.
Dah.
Wah.
Dia jaga jarum teman.
Kena tegak lah. Okey, kita masukkan ikan. Masukkan ring. Ring ni kat sini.
Hi, this is Ling. Today I will going to present about the condition of the disc brake. And the left hand side, the picture is about the part that we have dismantled. And the right hand side, the figure is about the outboard brake shoe, or we also can call it as outboard brake pad. Outboard brake pad is actually located outside of the brake caliper. It is a moving part which moves along with the guide pin and the brake caliper to contact with the disc brake, and lastly it will attach to the inboard brake pad to provide a brake performance. And the thickness of the outboard brake pad is actually 10.94 mm, which considered as a good condition, because mostly the thickness of the brake pad should not be less than 3 mm. If less than 3 mm, we are advising the driver to service their brake pad. This is some of the small research regarding to the thickness of the brake pad. As I mentioned just now, our measurement for the outboard brake pad is 10 mm, and we are considered as lightweight, still can be used in a long term. And then if the thickness of the brake pad is less than 3 mm or 2 mm, yet we are advising the driver to change it. And this is the inboard brake pad. This is more attached to the inner part of the brake caliper, and it will connect with the brake hose, all that. The thickness of this inboard brake pad is 10.88 mm and considered as good conditions. Next, we are discuss about the piston and the cylinder bore. From the picture, we can observe that there is no rusting, and the cylinder bore is in lubricant condition. It will reduce the friction within the piston and the cylinder bore. Next, we are going to discuss about the inspection of the disc thickness measurement. And this is the picture about the disc brake. The average disc thickness is about 21.79 mm to 21.80 mm for every part, which means the brake pads does not cause too much friction on this plate. And this is the rub test. From the picture, we observe that the two brake pads does not fully contact with the chop that have been rubbed on the surface of the brake disc. The surface of the brake disc is not evenly rough. Lastly, this is the guide pin, which is allowed the outboard brake pad to move within the brake caliper to provide the braking performance. We have to ensure that the guide pin is not bending and always straight and not rusty on the surface. Alright, that's all from my presentations. Thank you.
Okay, hello. So I will present the question 1. Based on your finding, what is the condition of brake pad? Should it be replaced with new pad? So the answer is the minimum thickness for brake pad was given, which is 3 to 6 mm. We measured outboard brake pad, which is 10.94 mm, and inboard brake pad is 10.88 mm. The thickness brake pad we measured is more over the minimum thickness. So we can say that both brake pad is still in good condition. Furthermore, the surface of the brake also is in good condition as there is no crack. Both shim is still intact with the backing plate of brake pad. During rubbing tests, both brake pads are able to evenly contact with the rotor. The conclusion is we does not need to replace with new pad since it is still in good condition. Next, the question 2. List 2 causes of rotor thickness variation. What is the correct repair procedure of thickness variation? There are two causes of rotor thickness variation. First, excessive lateral run out. Lateral run out is the rotor wobbling from its axis back and forth. The repeated contact with the brake pad over time causes that section of the rotor to become worn or brake pad material are spread unevenly to rotor surface. The correct repair procedure is, first, take off the tires by loosening up the lug nuts and jacking up the cars a little bit to get good access of the rotor. Put the removed wheels underneath the car for extra safety in case there is failure of jack stand. Third, check the thickness of rotor by using vernier caliper. Also check the play in the wheel bearing and corrosion on the mounting surface. Use dial gauge to measure run out in the rotor and hub assembly. Fifth, if the rotor did not pass minimum thickness required by manufacturer, the rotor need to be replaced. 6. If the rotor have excessive amount of thickness, it can be repaired by using sandpaper. Use the Moscow's sandpaper and then to the fine sandpaper. 7. Repeat step 6 until desired thickness is achieved. Lastly, reassemble the wheels and make sure the bolts and nuts are top down to manufacturer recommended.
The run out of the measurement data is a method to get high spot of brake rotor and variation thickness, and it's a measurement of the surface thickness of disc brake rotor. So from the data obtained, we can know the rotor within the manufacturer specification or not. Dial gauge is used to obtain the high speed value. The method of run out measurement is by put dial gauge contact point facing the rotor and relate the rotor. Question number 4. What is your finding for guide pin straightness check? We found out the guide pin is still in good condition and can move smoothly when rolled on a flat surface. Guide pins, they are responsible for guiding the proper angle for how the brake pad meets the disc. So what happens if they are not straight? First, could experience noises or a problem stopping. Second, the brake could stuck or grab when you are driving, or could hear a grinding, noising if the calipers aren't meeting the rotor at the rubber angle.
Azman, and today I will talk about conclusion like for about this brake system. Based on this lab activity, firstly we get to know condition of this brake assembly, whether it is good or vice versa. Then we also manage to replace parts of this brake system. We can disassemble and assemble it back very well. And lastly, we get to know the name of each part of the assembly so easily.